Welcome to Chapter 28 of The Good Earth. As always, I will begin with a brief synopsis of the chapter, followed by some key points to pay attention to, and then finish off with some big ideas that the author is looking at, as well as asking some questions that I think are important to consider as you read the chapter. Chapter 28 shows Wang Lung's rise to the full height of his wealth. The flood goes away, and Wang Lung is able to plant and harvest and continue to build his business. Wang Lung is faced with a couple of challenges because, despite having sent his daughter away and having his uncle addicted to opium, there is still not any peace for him at home. His oldest son is feuding with his cousin because he thinks his cousin is trying to get to his wife. When Wang Lung talks to him about the fighting, the oldest son suggests that they all move the family into town so that the cousin can live by himself in the country home. When Wang Lung asks his second son what he thinks, Nung Wen responds that he thinks it is a good idea because then they could all live together the way a great family should live, and it would enable him to get married as well. This son has clear ideas about the kind of woman that he wants to marry, and while Wang Lung is astonished to discover that his son has put so much thought into it, he is also pleased to discover that the wife he wants is also a sensible choice. Wang Lung goes into town to examine the old house of Huang and decides that he will rent all of the inner courts and move the family there. Some things to notice in this chapter include how much Wang Lung's sons have matured. They are men in their own right now, and Wang Lung is treating them much more like equals than he ever has before. By this time, they are the same age as he was when the story began, and it is clear that he is proud of who they have turned out to be. Notice the reasons that Nung Wen gives for agreeing to move into town. We can see that although both sons put things in terms of benefiting the family, they both have strong self-interest. In particular, we see that the second son is a careful thinker and planner, and that he is looking to the future. Pay attention to how Wang Lung treats his uncle. Although on the surface he is doing his uncle a kindness, in reality he is manipulating the man for his own purposes. This sort of double dealing and scheming should, by now, have become apparent to you as a major subtheme of the novel. One concept that comes up in this chapter is the roles and responsibilities of extended families. Multi-generational homes were the norm in this time and place, and that idea is reinforced in this chapter. Wang Lung is about to become a grandfather, and they are planning to set up a dynastic home with Wang Lung at the head and 3 generations of his heirs living together. Compare this idea to multi-generational homes in your culture. Are these types of living arrangements common or uncommon? Why? This is also a good time to bring up family legacies. You have inherited things from your